All right, shalom, shalom, y'all, shalom. You know where it is, man. Malak back in here, man. First off, want to give all praises, the glory, and the honor unto the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash. And Lord will, this is edifying, man. And before I start this live stream, I want to just say on wax, this is not meant to be no diss. This is not meant to be no shots thrown. This is just simply meant for edification purposes, even though I know some will take it as that because of some of the things that I might say through the spirit throughout this live stream. But it's not meant for none of that, man. It's just simply meant for edification purposes, exhortation purposes for all the brothers that, subscribe to my channel and watch these videos and whatnot. And I greatly appreciate that support for all y'all brothers, man. But yeah, this not meant for none of that. It's just simply meant to edify, exhort, and feed brother spirits, man. So let's go ahead and get into it. So y'all see the title of this live stream, man. And before I get started too, I was going to do a live stream today about some of the events that's going on in the world right now and kind of breaking down y'all know how I do on my channel, kind of break everything down from a, outside the matrix point of view and kind of like a, between the curtain, beneath the veil, behind the veil type point of view. I was going to do that. I was going to do that in relation to some of the world events that's going on in regards to certain shootings and, why those distractions are going on for the means of, understanding what type of control the society's headed into. I was going to go into that today, but, as I was doing research and whatnot, I do want to do some more and I want to gather more information as well because I really want to dig deep into that topic. So I'm pushing that back. to this weekend, Lord will. But we're going to get into that at that point in time. But today I want to touch on this topic because it's actually something that I've been speaking on, pretty consistently amongst my inner circle. And brothers that know me for the past, couple months or so. And I'm speaking on it because it's something that I've experienced myself. It's something that I've experienced within my own personal walk in this truth, my own personal walk in this faith, something I had to address within myself. And I've since been able to address it in myself. I'm able to see those certain traits in other brothers, and I'm able to, just assess things on a deeper level in terms of getting deep into the psychology of why certain things are said, why certain things are done. Like I said, because I've been able to address and assess that within my own walk, in my own life. So let's go ahead and get into the topic. Y'all know how we do on here. So as y'all see the topic, it says remove the inner Christ complex. You can't save anyone. And I know that topic right there kind of, alarms, what I'm saying? You see that you can't save anyone, remove the Christ complex. It sounds like shots being thrown. And like I said in the introduction to this live stream, it most definitely ain't. It ain't meant to do none of that, man. It's just meant to edify and give some reason as to why I say those things. Of course, using the precepts and the scriptures as the foundation. But like it says, remove the inner Christ complex. And the reason why removing the inner Christ complex is so important is because, as we all know, none of us are Christ, none of us are Yahweh Shai, none of us are the Most High Yahweh. So we don't have the power to save anyone. Meaning, we shouldn't put that expectation on ourselves, and we shouldn't put the expectation on other people as well, because everything is controlled by the Most High. See, the Most High, and that's one of the things that we have to really, I think, is a little bit tougher to accept than other concepts in this truth. Yeah, you get into this truth, you learn you can't eat pork, you learn you can't eat shrimp, you learn you can't do certain activities, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what you may have done in your past life and whatnot. And when I say past life, I mean your life prior to getting this knowledge. You may learn that you got to change your ways. I mean, that's literally what the process of repenting is. It's a change of your ways. It's not just action. I mean, it's not just words. It's action and words. You know what I'm saying? So in that transition process, there are certain things that are easier to accept than others. And as from what I've seen from my point of view within my own life, and also within just what I see from other brothers as well, I think that removing that Christ complex, when you start to get a higher level of knowledge and understanding, far surpassing most people in the world, I think that's one of the tougher things to do. Because another thing that's tough to do is to humble yourself to realize that the Most High literally controls every single aspect of this world, every single aspect of our existence, every single aspect of everything. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have individual decisions that we have to make on a daily basis to keep ourselves, afloat. I'm definitely not saying that, because sometimes, excuses can be made for why certain things didn't get done by saying, oh, well, the Most High didn't put the Spirit to this, the Most High didn't do this. No, we still have individual understanding we have to take on. We still have individual accountability we have to accept in certain things of that nature. But from a wide lens point of view, the Most High controls everything. So with that being said, like the title says, you can't, I can't, nobody, we cannot save nobody. Meaning, what I mean when I say you can't save nobody, all you can do is plant a seed in someone. All you can do is give someone an understanding. All you can do is direct someone to greener pastures. All you can do is direct someone to something that you, based off your own experiences as well, perceive to be something that will be beneficial towards them. But you can't permeate that thought and that wisdom that you've taken on into their brain. The Most High has to be the one that does that, right? The Most High has to be the one that permeates someone's thoughts. The Most High has to be the Most High has to be the one that takes that strong delusion cap off of someone and allows truth to come into their mindset, truth to come into their spirit, truth to come into their brain. You know what I'm saying? The Most High has to do that. None of us can do that. Now, as we get, more knowledge in this truth, as we get more understanding, as we start to understand things on a deeper level in regards to the society around us, we start to take on a complex where we think we can, change someone. We think we can guide someone. And when I say God, I mean literally have them believe something that you believe. And that's just simply not possible. We all of us brothers, I'm sure, who are watching this video, myself included, Um, we've tried to tell people about certain truths in relation to this world. We tried to tell certain people about truth according to the Spirit in terms of what the Bible really says. We tried to tell people about certain lifestyle choices and ways that the society accepts that are against the ways of the Most High. We try to tell people about certain truths in regards to the financial system, certain truths in regards to the direction this world is headed into. Hey, with this whole thing that happened in 2020 and beyond, you know what I'm talking about. We try to tell people about the truth in relation to that event, why that event happened, what's going to come after that event, and what certain solutions that they already plan to have on the table for that particular event. And then as we're seeing those things come to pass, in 2021, 2022 and beyond, people still aren't seeing it and we're still telling, but they're not getting it. So that goes to show you that, even when things are plain as day in someone's face and they can't see it, nothing that you say is going to be able to make them change. Now, things that you say can plant a seed that may sprout later, that may sprout later. Things that you say may be in someone's mind, be in the back of someone's head, and then when all hell really breaks loose, they might, oh, what was that thing that you said here? What was the thing you said there? And if it's going to be too late, if it's going to be too late at that particular period of time or not, hey, none of us know. Only the Most High knows that. But the point I'm trying to get is that you plant a seed in someone's head, but you can't really change no one's mindset. That has to be done by the Most High, and that has to be continued by that person's actions after the curtain is taken off from over their eyes. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get into a precept, and then we're going to keep on expounding on this topic. I'm not going to make this one too long, but I do want to touch on this point. Because I've said a phrase often that, as I've told people this phrase at times, they've taken us, like, looked at me in kind of a weird way, like, damn, why would you say something like that? Or, damn, that's kind of cold to say. But I've said the phrase that if you didn't get it, it wasn't meant for you. And I don't mean that in a derogatory or in a demeaning way. I literally mean that based off of understanding that that this is not something that you're gonna actively go get. This is something that has to be revealed to you, not just the truth about the Bible, but the truth about the world. It has to be revealed to you. You know what I'm saying? You don't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to see what the truth about this world is, and such and such happens. No, you may come across a YouTube video, you may come across an article, so you may come across someone who may lace you with some game and whatnot, but that's all the Most High bringing certain avenues to your footstep, to your doorstep. That's not you actively going to seek those things more often than not. But let's go to the book of Proverbs, because this precept is actually the thumbnail for this video as well. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 33. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. And I wanted to get that right there because it says before honor is humility. Now, all of us brothers that are in this thing, this truth, this knowledge, whatever, however you want to describe this, we're all searching for that honor. We're all searching for that spot, that very coveted spot of being one of the elect. That's what honor is. But before that comes a level of humility that you have to take on while you're in this walk, while you're in this flesh, while you're on this earth. You know what I'm saying? You have to take on a level of humility, so that means that you cannot have a Christ complex and be humble at the same time. I'm going to say that again. You cannot have a Christ complex and be humble at the same time. Like I said, I'm not just speaking about these things in terms of observations I've seen. Yes, that's part of it. But I'm speaking about this in relation to experience I've gone through myself. You know what I'm saying? Things that I've had to work through in my own walk. You know what I'm saying? Being able to humble myself to the point where, I understand and I know that I'm not that special where someone should just believe what I say just because I have some knowledge on this area. They should just, dismiss everything that they've been taught in relation to this world, in relation to the Bible, in relation to anything, any topic, and just believe me. You know what I'm saying? Because number one, I'm not all knowledgeable. I'm not all understanding. I'm not all knowing. I'm still increasing. I'm still growing in my understanding as well. You know what I'm saying? So with those things being the combination of those things, there's no reason why someone should just drop everything and listen to me. That's a very humble mentality that we have to take on. You know what I'm saying? But oftentimes I see, I wouldn't say oftentimes, but sometimes I see, like I said, starting with myself first. I had to address it with myself first. And then but because I've addressed it with myself, I'm able to see certain traits of that in other brothers as well. Where you think that by you speaking strongly, especially speaking in a very, strong tone and a very passionate tone, that's going to make someone believe what you say. It's not going to make. In fact, that may that may persuade someone against what you're saying. Now, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that's just the fact of the matter. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of the situation. You know, you can't just think just because you're speaking about something with a good amount of understanding and knowledge, and you speak a passionate tone, that someone should just drop everything and listen to you. The Most High has to reveal certain things to people, just how He revealed them to you. And part of the humble or the humble process as well is understanding within your own life you didn't actively go seek these things. The Most High brought it to you. We oftentimes as brothers talk about stories, where we share stories about how did you come into truth. We talk about that with other brothers. Hey man, what you do? How'd you come into truth, man? When did you come into truth? How was the process for you as you grew coming from the world to the truth? And when we express these stories, when we explain these stories, oftentimes it was nothing of our own volition. We didn't actively go seek and type on YouTube who are the Israelites. We didn't actively go seek our so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites. Even in relation to things, even in relation to the truths about this world that we're living in, more often than not, we may have saw some issue with things, and I think that's a big part of it as well. I think that's a huge part of it actually. Being able to accept certain truths about not just the world around you, but also the Bible and the spiritual aspect of life. You got to have more of a mentality that's more driven towards seeing issue with things around you. Maybe being questionable about things, and no one be able to answer your questions as you're coming up. You know what I'm saying? But even then, you don't have the answers to it yet. Those answers have to be revealed to you. Like I said, whatever means it gets to you, it's all the Most High driving that towards you, so that you can grow. So that's part of the humble process as well, is accepting that even within you, you didn't just wake up one day and you had it. Things had to be, the Most High had to bring certain things to you, and then you had to accept it. Number one, then you had to develop, and then you had to sprout, and then you got to continue. You got to continue to still, learn. You got to continue to continue to study and read and elevate your mind. None of us are perfect, products. So when you understand that about yourself, it's easier for you to understand that about other people, which means you can remove your Christ complex. Because like I said, Proverbs 15:33, the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Like I was saying, the most honorable position that you can be in this entire realm of existence is one of the men that's of the elect when Yahweh Shah returns. Especially, one of the 144,000 men gets beamed up. That's the most honorable position that we could achieve, that we could strive for, that we could reach. But before you get to that point, you have to be humble. You have to be able to accept humility within your own life and express humility with other people. Like the title of the video says, you can't save anybody. I also want to go to another precept. Actually, I got BLB on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Because we got to understand as well, it's all predestination, man. I have a video on my channel that I did probably about a year ago that was titled "It Was Written." Of course, we all know what the play on words is with that, if you're a fan of hip hop music. But I'm gonna go down to verse 3. because we got to understand as well, this truth, this understanding is all according to predestination as well. Going back to the point I made earlier, where the Most High controls everything. He controls every aspect of everything. And that's another humble trait that we have to accept. And like I said earlier, I think that's one of the more harder ones to accept as well, because especially as men, we naturally want to be in control of things. We naturally want to take charge of things. When we really passionate about something and we really know something, and we know that we're right about something through our own dedication, our own research, our own study, through our own diligence towards the topic, when we are telling someone about it, we want to persuade them into understanding it. We don't want to lead that conversation without them saying, I agree with what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we are. That's just how we wired as men. But we gotta humble ourselves and say, you know what, hey, if you didn't get it, wasn't meant for you, man. At least not yet. It may be meant for them later, but at least not right now. And we also have to understand that, like I was saying, the Most High control everything. It's all predestination. Many are called, few are chosen. The called is predestined, the chosen is predestined. That's another topic too, because people think about, what can I do to be of the elect? What can I do to be of the 144,000? Now, of course, the Bible does say in the book of 2 Peter, give all diligence to make your call and election sure. But that diligence, that the people who put in that diligence, that's also predestination as well. There's nothing you can do to be of the elect. And like I said, when I say that statement, I'm not sitting there saying that, that nothing you do matters. I'm not sitting there saying that you don't have to give diligence to make that spot secure. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can just go do anything and you can be of the elect just because. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's all according to predestination. I'm saying it's all, the Most High is controlling every aspect of our lives. So he wakes us up with the understanding that we're Israelites. He wakes us up with the understanding to keep the law, statutes, commandments. He wakes us up and he grants us the spirit each day to be able to walk, with this truth being the foundation of our lives. And those steps in that process will lead you to being of the elect. But it's nothing that you did. You know what I'm saying? That's the message I'm trying to convey with this. That it's all predestination. But let's continue. This is Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, blessed be the God of our Father, of our Lord. It says, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahweh Shai, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us according to the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. As it says right here, it says, having predestinated us according to the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. So just going into that, like I was saying earlier, the ability to do the good pleasure of the Most High's will, that's predestination. The ability to know to know that he's the Father and Yahweh Shai is the Son, that's predestination. You know what I'm saying? So that's like I was saying, the ability to wake up each day with with this true understanding and be able to walk your life according to that standard, that's predestination. And there's nothing that you can actually do to get yourself to that way of living. The Most High has to bring this understanding to you, and you have to develop it from there. Your own reading, your own knowledge, your own study, that of course that's things you have to do. But the point I'm trying to convey is that those are things the Most High places certain I will say a gift in you to be able to do, because as the scriptures say, because all that entails faith. And as it says in Ephesians 2 and 8, that faith is a gift. So it's a blessing, it's a gift, If that makes sense. I know that sounded kind of choppy, but the point, like I said, the message I'm trying to convey is that, because I'm not trying to sit here and say that we doesn't matter what we do, or we have no level of control over anything. I'm not saying that, but from a wide lens point of view, the Most High is in charge of every aspect. He's the conductor of the train. Now on a train, each it has certain stops. It has different chambers and different mechanisms that keep the train going. You know what I'm saying? Those mechanisms is your study, Is your faith? Is your level of dedication? Is your ability to be searching for understanding? Is your yearning for the true aspect of life? But the conductor is still the one moving it along. It's the same thing in this walk. The conductor, being the Most High, is the one moving you along and guiding you in your understanding. But you have to still do your part as well. That's the point I'm trying to convey right there. So you can't. So with that understanding right there, you have to. If you can apply that to yourself and you can understand that within yourself, then you can understand that within other people. It starts with you first, and I realize that with myself. It starts with me first, and then I can realize that in others, right? So since I'm able to see those things in myself, when I'm explaining to someone, certain truth principles about this world around us, whether that be or um, scriptural or just societal wise, whether that be the financial sector, the spiritual sector of society, the financial sector of society, the militaristic sector of society, the global event sector of society. I'm saying the technological sector of society, whatever it may be that I'm connecting to a principle of truth. I can't, I can't convince, I can't personally permeate their spirit. That has to be done by the Most High, just how it was done with the Most High with you and me. Because, like I said, in the scripture say, it's predestination. Continuing on, verse 6, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace, wherein he hath abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he hath proposed in himself. I want to get into that right there. It says, having made known unto us the mystery of his will. See, that's why I say the certain things that I'm saying in this live stream about how you didn't go search this out. And I think that, like I said, that's a very humble, you have to be humble enough to be able to accept that. I had to be able to accept that. Because sometimes you get in this understanding, you start, like I said, you start to get a better grip on things in relation to how this world is moving, in relation to the spiritual aspect of society, than other people. You can start to get a mindset where, I got this on my own. You start to get a mindset where it's like, because you may be thinking on a higher level that somehow it was up to you and you did it. It was like, nah, man, you didn't do that. The Most High did that. And when you start to adopt that mentality of you did it, that's when your Christ complex builds up more and more and more. And then once that becomes once that reaches a peak, you become very diluted in the mind, right? You become extremely diluted in your mind, to the point where you think you're above reproach, where everything you say is right, where you have an authority on all things truth, and all things truth come through you. Now, I'm not saying I ever reached that level. I'm just saying that those are things that I noticed within Israel, because a lot of brothers, unfortunately, I won't say a lot, but some brothers, unfortunately, do have a Christ complex, where they believe that all things truth go through them. Where they believe that because of their certain level of understanding and knowledge over other brothers, they're in some kind of authority figure to instruct people instruct people in regards to instruction beyond reproach, as to this is this, this is this, and this is this. There's nothing wrong with instructing people. Everyone needs a teacher at some point in time. But when you're instructing beyond reproach, to the point where you can never be wrong, that's where the issue arises. Because, like I said, you become that's a very delusional mentality to have, because we're all human, right? We're all human. And you're not the one that wakes yourself up every day to study more. You're not the one that wakes yourself every day to find out more information. You're not the one that wakes yourself up every day and does things to better your mind. The Most High does that, because he's instructing you about the mystery of his will. It's a mystery to be able to understand this. We know the scriptures is full of parables, dark sentences, dark triads, things of that nature. I'm not triads, dark. I forgot the other word I was going to use, but dark sentences, parables, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So since we know that's the case, it's like a key that has to be, it's like a lock that has to be unlocked with a key to be able to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And that key is the Most High opening your mind, opening your brain to know what His will is. You know, you would have locked, you were just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Dangling, you're locked, dangling, or you just going about your everyday life. You know what I'm saying? But you needed that key to unlock that. You need that key that can permeate into your brain, just like that key goes into that lock and unlocks it, and then you can open it, and then everything can come in through there. The same thing with your brain. That key unlock your brain. Not everything can go through your. Everything can go into your brain, into your spirit. Now since it's unlocked, more and more and more and more and more can come in there. Just like a room. When a room is unlocked, you can stuff more and more and more stuff in there. Same thing with your mindset and your spirit. And when you understand that, you can apply that, not just, like I said, not just to yourself, but to others. And that right now I'm detailing the process of removing the Christ complex. Just by simple understanding. By simple understanding of how things actually went down, and not your diluted version of how things went down. Like I said, I'm not talking, it's not meant to be no shade or no shot at no one. Because like I said, I had to address these things myself first and foremost. And then once I did, now I'm able to see those things and I'm able to speak on it. But continuing on. It says in this dispensation of the fullness of times, he might gather together in one all things in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, even in him. In whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. Now, of course, we know this is just simply going into the nation of Israel as a whole, but the nation of Israel is made up of collective people. And we know not all of the nation of Israel is going to be saved. Only 1/3, right? So since only 1/3 are going to be saved, there's a predestinated nation that's set for inheritance over the earth. And within that nation, there's only 1/3 of it, 33% of it, that are gonna, that are on that next level predestination to actually inherit the earth and whatnot. And the Most High is the one that does the picking within that. So since he does the picking within that, he's the one that has to open someone's mindset. He's the one that has to unlock that that brain, unlock that spirit. You know, for truth to flow and for living water to flow in, for oil being understanding to flow in. You can't do it. You can be a vessel, and that's the next point I was going to get into. You can be a vessel, meaning what? Nothing is done in vain, right? The Most High has always used men to be able to preach his message, to be able to teach his message. Most High has always used men as conduits, as intermediaries for the people of our nation, right? Most High has always done that. But he's the one that unlocks the understanding in you. He's the one that opens that opens your heart and your mind, your spirit, to be able to take heed to the words of his vessels. You know, you think about that strong delusion that most people are under. I want to get that point as well. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians. I think that's the second chapter. Before we continue, hey, shalom, brother. Mr. Sanjan, my brother, Mr. Sanjan 144 in the building. Shalom, bro. Appreciate you coming through as always. Your continual support. Like I always say, bro, it really does mean a lot. I appreciate it very much, man. Shalom, brother. But let's get in this right here. It's 2 Thessalonians 2:11. It says, and for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. See, I wanted to get that right there because it just gets to the point that the delusion that people are under in this world to believe, the delusion that people are under to see how things are playing out in broad daylight and see how that's matching the words that people who have an understanding what's going on, a true understanding what's going on, see how those two are matching and still not believe it. That there's no other, there's really no other, what's the word I want to use? There's really no other way to explain that as to why that is, except for a strong delusion being put on people by the Lord, man. And the person that institutes something has to be the one that takes it away. If you like say you got something that fits your hand perfectly, right? You got something that fits your hand perfectly. If you want to put your hand in something that fits in it perfectly, you got to be the one that takes it out. You have your hand on something. Other things can't get into it because you have your hand on it. And if you want other things to get into it, you got to take your hand off. Same thing with the Most High. The Most High has his hand on people's mindsets. He has his hands on people's brains. He has his hands glued to people's necks. No, I don't want no understanding to get into you. No, I don't want no truth to permeate into your mindset, your spirit. And if he wants to take it off, he has to take it off. You can't do it. I can't do it. And understanding that is removing that Christ complex. Because if you don't, you could be cast into a strong delusion as well. And that can go into many different pathways you don't want to get into, because think about it like this. If you have a mindset where you think you can save everyone around you, you're going to get so frustrated by the fact that your words are not affecting people's spirits as you thought that they were because of your own Christ complex, that you can end up deceived thinking that it's not as powerful as you thought it was. Now, the words are powerful. Don't get it twisted, especially if you're speaking, thus saith the Lord, according to the scriptures. The words are powerful, but that doesn't mean that people are just going to believe everything that you say. But you could be deluded into your mindset where you think because the words are thus saith the Lord, because the words are according to the scripture, because you've done exceptional, and diligent research towards what's going on around us, and you know these things to be true, because you have strong conviction towards it, you could start to get frustrated by the fact that people aren't getting it. Next thing you know, you turn your back on it, because then you can convince your mind where you're like, it's not as powerful as I thought it was. That's just something to think about. It's like when you see people going so hard at something, always on 10, always going ham, always going hard at something, and then the solution that they want doesn't pan out. They end up going haywire, man. It's like people who have big hoop dreams or whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Had hoop dreams, had ball dreams. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to play in the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, whatever it may be, and they can't move on to the next phase of life when that dream doesn't pan out, because that's such a stronghold on them. Their mindset was so driven towards it. They believed in that so much, and they consecrated all their efforts into pursuing that. And they knew that there was strong conviction towards it. When things don't pan out, you see some people go and they can never move on to the next phase of life, and they start getting strung down on all kinds of different things, and in a worse situation than before. And you get in that situation, you get in that mindset when you lose track of who controls everything. When you lose track of who's the conductor. Going back to the train analogy I use, you lose track of who's the conductor, and having trust in the conductor's way. Now, when you go on a plane, when you flying or whatever, you got trust in the pilot. They gonna get you to where you need to get to safely. Most High is the pilot. See, that's the thing. The Most High is the pilot. Now, while you're on a plane, you got the flight attendants who are helping you out with certain things, who are getting certain things to you when you need them, who are giving the instructions of the pilot to the passengers, who are relaying information from the pilot to the passengers, and you can choose to believe it or not. The same thing with the Most High. The Most High is the pilot. Now his men, I'm saying, us brothers, Lord will have that number, but us brothers who are doing the work, who are keeping the commandments to the best of our ability, who are doing our very best to be righteous vessels, we're the flight attendants. We relay the message. But we can't convince someone to believe it. They got to believe it on their own, man. If you're on a plane and the pilot tells the flight attendants, turn your phones on airplane mode. The flight attendant relays that message, turn your phone on airplane mode. And you could choose to do it or not. Whether you do it or not, it may or may not have a harsh consequence for you. Maybe it may or may not. Now we know in this truth, if you don't believe this, if you don't curtail your life to fit this standard, then you're going to be destroyed. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's not the topic of this video. But the point I'm trying to make is that similar to that scenario, the Most High is that pilot. You're the flight attendant. You know what I'm saying? Us brothers, we're the flight attendants. And we're trying to relay the message to the passengers being people who don't have the understanding as of now or are never going to get it. They can choose to believe it or not. And that's just how it is, man. So you got to remove that Christ complex, because you can't think that you're the pilot, right? Because then you end up in a worse position than before. If a flight attendant tries to go fly the plane, everyone's going to die, including that person that tried to fly the plane and the passengers. If you have such a complex where you think that you're a Christ, you think you delude yourself to thinking you're a Christ figure, you could be leading people astray because you can't be told otherwise. Similar to that flight attendant. The flight attendant doesn't know how to properly fly the plane, how to listen to the proper instructions from the traffic control engineer, how to navigate the waters and winds and all that. They don't know. They don't know how to do that. Similar to us. We're not the Most High. So we don't know the mindset of everything. We don't know certain things. There's certain things we don't have an understanding of. We don't interpret everything 100% directly according to how he instructed, man. Sometimes we can get, we're human. We can get things wrong. We fuck up ourselves. We sin. So if we can't be instructed in any kind of way, and we can't be, if we delude ourselves to think we're above reproach, aka a Christ figure, the Christ complex, then you got the potential to lead yourself astray and everyone that's following you. That's the importance of removing the Christ complex, because you never know what you can learn. You can learn something from anyone, man. You never know what you can learn. You never know when you can find out something new. You never know when something's going to be revealed to you that you didn't understand before. But if you think you're above reproach, now you're not just shutting out people around you, you're shutting out the Most High. You're shutting out the Most High from revealing more things to you. You're shutting out the Most High from being able to guide you in the proper direction he sees fit for you. Because you made yourself to be a Christ figure, man. You've gotten a Christ complex. Matter of fact, let's get another precept that I wanted to get. It's Sirach 3:21. It says, "Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength." It's not up to us to change people. It's not up to us to force people into acceptance. It's up to us to just relay the message. Just like the flight attendant. The flight attendant relays the message to the passengers. The pilot flies the plane. The Most High flies the plane. The Most High guides everything. We relay the message. If you get it, cool. If you don't, cool. Now it can have consequences for you, and it will, but that's a choice that each individual person has to make. But the difference between that analogy and this truth understanding is the Most High can block certain people out from being able to get the understanding. Continuing on. Actually, I'm gonna go down to verse 23. Be not curious unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and the evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. And that evil suspicion is that Christ complex. And you may not even realize it, man. You may not even realize it. But there are certain traits to watch out for if you never can be told anything. If you're automatically casting yourself as I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. So, this can't be right because it wasn't what I know. If you think you know everything before even going into an interaction, that's a Christ complex, whether you want to believe it or not. If you have so much vitriol toward people, if they don't understand what you're saying, or if they have any questions in regards to what you're saying, or if they just don't believe what you're saying in regards to the spiritual aspect or the true or the societal truths about this world and the direction thereof. That's a Christ complex. Because like I said, you're deceived by your own vain opinion of yourself. But I want to get one more point, and the next point I want to get is gratitude. Now, shout out to my boy King Ruff. He spoke about gratitude all 2021, and that's a point that a lot of brothers don't seem to really want to accept like that, man. Gratitude is extremely important. See, when you have a Christ complex and you're thinking that you can save everyone, and you're thinking that by your words people are gonna bow down and reverence and give all this praise and accolades towards you, and they just gonna believe every single word you said because you're such and such in the eyes of the Lord. You don't have that stops you from being able to have gratitude. I always say this, man, because people, you hear conversations and whatnot. You hear, "Oh, can the heathen be saved?" You hear, "Oh, what's gonna happen to this? What's gonna happen to that?" Hey, man, don't worry about none of that shit, man. Now we all know the answer to that via the scriptures, but don't worry. Why are you so focused on that? Be focused on the fact that you have the understanding and grow in that. See how you can be sharpening your skills. See how you can be rising yourself up, man. See how you can be getting more faith. See how you can be getting more understanding. See how you can be relaying messages in a more coherent and a better fashion. See how you can be more patient and understanding with people as they're coming along. See those, look out for those things, in relation to you. Don't worry about all this other stuff, man. Because that robs you of accepting gratitude. The Christ complex robs you from gratitude. Gratitude and humility go hand in hand. Because with gratitude comes humility. With humility comes obedience. With obedience comes understanding. And they all go hand in hand. Well, I also say that in reverse. With understanding comes obedience. With obedience comes gratitude. With gratitude comes humility. They all work in unison together. You can't have one without the other, man. So you got a big Christ complex. You can't be gracious toward the Most High. He's blessed you with certain things. And that's the thing, too. If you're always shunning people, you're always, thinking that by what I say, people should be able to get this, and this at the drop, whenever my mouth opens, people should be able to accept everything I say 100% with no pushback. That robs you of being grateful that you're able to see things that other people can't. That robs you from just saying thank you at the water to the Most High for being able to understand things on a level that He's blinded people from being able to see or understand. So gratitude is a big part of it, as well, man. I want to get one more precept, and then I'm going to end this out. Like I said, this wasn't going to be no long live stream. I just want to touch on this point real quick because it's been something that's been on my mind recently. It's 2 Ezra 14:14. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. You know, put off that weak nature, man. Set aside those thoughts that are very heavy unto you. You know. Let me get this as well. So just looking for this preset real quick. Here we go. So on top of, putting off that weak nature and putting off those heavy thoughts of who's going to get it, who's going to understand this, or what's the point of saying this because they're not going to understand it anyway, or why can't they get it? Why can't they get it? Why can't they get this? Why can't they get that? Hey, put off them thoughts, man. Set aside them heavy thoughts, man. Just be grateful for your understanding. Get your house in order. Put out that weak, put that worrisome nature off. That's what that weak nature is. That worrisome, that faulty nature. Always worrying about what's going to happen here, what's going to happen here, man. Let predestination take its course. Let the conductor do the conducting. Just be the vessel, speak it. Let the Most High permeate someone's mind, permeate someone's spirit. You got to put off that weak nature of worrying, especially in these times. That's why it says, haste to flee, set aside the thoughts most heavy into thee, and haste to flee from these times, man. Especially in these days that we in right now, those worrisome thoughts, man. That's not something that should be at the forefront of our minds. That's gonna cause you to start to not just doubt. You're going to start to doubt what you believe in by proxy of other people not believing it. Let it breathe. And shout out to my guy, Mr. Keep It Simple, man. I fuck with some of them dude videos, man. But continuing on, hey, like I was saying the other day, so you got to have fun with this too, man. That's another thing about just setting off that weak nature, man. Everything don't got to be so serious all the time. Now, there are times where things do need to be extremely serious and extremely focused, and you got to be laser focused and laser dialed into things. But everything got to be so serious all the time, man. Sometimes you can, like, people use that whole being unequally yoked shit out of context. Let me not say shit. People use that whole unequally yoked scripture out of context. You think just because someone's not in the truth, you can't talk to them. Just because someone's not in the truth, just because someone doesn't see the world through the same lens that you see it, you can't have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Everything don't got to be so serious all the time. You're not Christ. And I'm not Christ. None of us are. Everything that you say is not thus saith the Lord. Sometimes you can just have a conversation as a normal person, as a regular person. Everything don't have to be so serious all the time. Because like I said, when you start placing those expectations on that level, you start to you start to value what you believe to be true by its effect, by how other people are perceiving it. You start to value what you deem to be, how effective you think something is by how effectively people are receiving it. Man, I'm gonna sit on that. but one more precept, and then we're gonna be done with this. It is 2 Ezra 9:13. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and whom the world was created for. Going back to that predestination point as well, going to who the world was created for, it was created from the righteousness exception, man. Everything, the Most High already knows who's going to make it and who's not. Because like I said, going into that making your calling of election sure, when I say there's nothing that you can do to be of the elect, I didn't mean and I clarified that there. I'm not saying that you don't have to keep the commandments. I'm not saying you don't have to keep the laws to the best of your ability. I'm not saying you don't have to have no faith in the Son. I'm not saying that you can just live life however you feel like living it and you can be saved. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not on no Christian shit. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the Most High is the one that guides your life in a certain direction. He's the conductor of the train. Now, like I said, he's the pilot. Now you have a role as well. You have to sharpen your mind. You have to sharpen your understanding. You have to sharpen your faith. You have to sharpen your diligence, your obedience through consistency of law abiding, consistency of faith building, consistency of knowledge building, understanding building, wisdom building, all of that. But the Most High is conducting the train. He wakes you up with the understanding in you. You could wake up tomorrow and forget about all of this, and that would be the Most High's choice to do that. That's what I mean when I say that. It's the Most High's decision to keep you in the faith. It's the Most High's decision to keep you with sound understanding. It's the Most High's decision to keep you alert to things that's going on in the world, and keep you sharp enough to be able to interpret it with a curtain unveiled point of view instead of what they're telling you. That's the Most High's decision to do those things. None that you particularly 100% chose to do. Like I said, you could wake up tomorrow and forget about all of this, if that's what the Most High wants. So understanding that, we can remove the Christ complex within ourselves, and by proxy, remove it in relation to how you deal with other people. But continuing on, I'm gonna just read this one more time. And be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and whom the world is created. So with all that being said, I pretty much got on this topic how I wanted to get on it, and I don't have much to say in regards to this topic anymore. I said everything I need to say. So with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Hey, Lord will just edifying y'all, and it's a quick one today, and I'm gonna be back this weekend, Lord will, with that live stream about the world events and whatnot, just kind of normal proceedings and whatnot. So, shalom, y'all, peace.